Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Stellaris and the Biogenesis expansion. So I did name our new Gaia world based on one of your guys' suggestions. We're calling it The Nest. I suppose that's fitting for our birds. And I've also got our fleet constructing almost to their limit. I think they'll be right at the command limit usage. Did finish up some technology here, so this is some food. Increased food from our farmers, really helpful because we are having a food shortage as well as an energy shortage. I have changed up some of the districts of this planet that we conquered, since it's really focused on the urban districts, and what we need is pretty much all of the stuff you get from the other districts. The energy, minerals isn't great, and then also of course the food. Well, we were just talking about being at the command limit for our fleet, so I guess we'll get the reactive formations to increase that even further, since obviously we want to have a bit more space for once we get the next ship types. We only have those destroyers and the corvettes at the moment. So we got the fleet fully upgraded. So that's 6.9 thousand, and that's before we built up the additional destroyers. It looks like we were finally attacked again. I think I mentioned at the end of the last episode that it had been a while since we'd seen an attack out of the wormhole. So they are attacking us with 4.4 thousand strength, but this should be a really easy battle, guys. We do need to take a look at our leader, who's just leveled up. So this is Great Call, the Minister of Defense. I think there's only one real choice here, since these just affect the army. So we'll get the border guard. This is pretty helpful as well. Increasing defense platform build speed, and then our star bases will do more damage and have more hull points. So that will be very useful for us. Alright, so the battle has finished up and we did not lose any of our defense platforms. So again, another easy battle, guys. And we're now at 24.5 thousand strength for the Starlit Citadel. So very, very powerful. We can also activate this relic again. So this reduces the ship upkeep, which is pretty much necessary for us. As you can see, our energy costs have gone up dramatically, since that is a 20% bonus. So we're going to have to make use of it, which is a shame, because I was hoping to start working on the supremacy. But we'll have to use the Unity for that. Since getting that doctrine tech isn't really all that important, we could start working on some of these things we have in the situation log, so we could delve into the secrets of the Hyatt. And then also for the Nema world, we've only done the initial study. We can also enslave the Nemas. Advanced drugs and cybernetic implants will render the Nemas more docile and impressionable. In time, they shall become gigantic beasts of burden. So that seems pretty interesting and feels like something that our species would do, since as xenophobes we don't really like aliens, but we are willing to use them in whatever way we can. And so we're going to go ahead and do this one first, and I suppose we'll do that one next. So it'll take a few months to get done. We have finished up with our fleets. They have a strength of 9,000, so hopefully that'll be enough to get the job done here. We'll have to see. In fact, let me make sure that we're just going here, and I hope we can just engage a few of these, but that's not how it has happened in the previous times we went in here. These are far more powerful than they look with just their numbers. But remember, we do have that modifier now, so we'll do more damage to them. And we do have low energy credits. So let's go ahead and make use of some of our trade to purchase, I don't know, about 1,000 of those for now. Also, our crystals are stacking up. I had actually meant to do something with those here in the edicts. In fact, this will help us in this battle because we can get increased energy weapons damage, 25%. So let's go to make use of that, and that will make our fleet a bit more powerful. And so hopefully this goes relatively well. Yeah, this is going much better than it did before. So we've already destroyed one. We're now engaging, or we should be engaging against that one, but we instead decided to move over here and attack this one. Okay, so the fleet is going to do what they want, guys. We'll take some casualties, I'm sure. But I think we're definitely going to win this. Yeah, this is going pretty well. So we'll be able to take over this system. That's 34 minerals, 3 energy credits. So we'll actually want to go ahead and start moving our construction ship over there now. So so that we can get this seized, so we can seize control of it as soon as we finish the battle, which we were not able to win. Okay, wow, so we did have to retreat. We only lost 2 corvettes and a destroyer, and yet Crimson Wing decided to retreat, perhaps because she's cautious. There's only 3 left, so I guess we destroyed half of their strength. So essentially, as soon as we get this back and get them repaired and add the new ships to them, we'll attack again. But it is a bit unfortunate that we had to do the attack twice. I really thought we'd do much better, but again, those ones are just so much more powerful than you expect them to be. Now, we'll see if we can get any bonuses for them. This would increase ship fire rate, so would be pretty useful. We do need to reduce the ship upkeep, but since we're doing this battle, I really feel like this would be the better option for right now, just to make our fleet a bit more powerful. And we'll see how strong we can get them once we restore their full strength. So this event is concerning our new planets. Colonists on the nest have developed a fascination with the astral scar visible in the sky from the planet's southern hemisphere. Rampant speculation exists about its origins, as well as what dangers or opportunities it might present. Amateur astronomers from across the Crimson Startarchy have flocked to the planet to see it for themselves. So each non-slave organic pot will now produce 1 physics research per month. That's going to be incredibly helpful once we get it more populated, of course. And this should result in it being more populated because it's going to increase the resettlement destination chance. Alright, excellent. So that's a nice little bonus for our new planets here. Enforced obedience. Our xenobioengineering scientists have curtailed the Nema menace. Thanks to our superb efforts, the creatures are now subservient to us. The Nemas have been granted renewed purpose as superlative beasts of burden. Their colossal bulk allows them to carry immense quantities of material, guided down optimal routes by way of their cybernetic implants. Our colonization effort has accelerated accordingly. So this will reduce the housing on the planet, but will increase the society research and reduce the building and district cost. So we might want to further prioritize that type of research on Cristaria. And I say further prioritize because we're already working on that. So we got the xenobiological lab, but yeah, it's gonna get us more society research. Although we can't build another one of those, what we can do is build further districts here. We don't really need to at the moment. But yeah, eventually that's what we'll want to do. Really focus on the research for that planet, which of course is our tech world, or I should say one of our tech worlds, because it seems that this one is as well, but I think that's mainly because we're still working on it. We haven't even selected their next specialization just yet. So Red Feather, the Minister of State, has gotten to level 2, which I think we only have them, yeah, they're not doing anything else. They're only in the council. And so we're probably going to want to make sure that we focus on council bonuses, which all of these are for if they're on the council. So we could increase the hop growth and the food. The ship build speed, I don't really need that. We already have a lot of bonuses for it. Or we could instead increase happiness. Let's go with this one here. We're not as short of on the food as we were when we started today's episode. Been really focusing on improving that, and now we're in the positive. Excellent. Same thing with energy. We're getting much better on that front too. And we continue to do these, get these new contact events here. So let's go and assign an envoy. And we've been meeting new civilizations out there as well. So we're filling in the galaxy map, learning about civilizations a bit further out. As far as the next war, I think we will probably just take out the Vor. I don't think it's that much longer. Yeah, it's just a couple years before the truce with them ends. And considering the fact that we lost our fleet, 8.9 thousand strength, by the way. Yeah, we gotta wait for them to return, and that will be soon. This will be next month. This is a continuation of that event chain, Conflicting Visions. The fascination with the local astral scar on the nest has become fanatic. Many report experiencing visions of a world beyond our own. One group claims that the scar leads to the center of a clockwork galaxy, where a mechanical god winds a timepiece to maintain balance across infinite worlds. In contrast, others say their visions have revealed a black star that holds the key to enlightenment. So the colony actually is going to lose some stability because of these visions. I don't think I've seen this event chain. Yeah, I don't recall seeing it before. So this is something new. We'll have to see exactly where it goes, because clearly not just one event. So here's the next event in the chain, Widening Divide. The schism between the population on the nest is worsening. The strange visions reported by the colonists have triggered fierce debates that have finally led to the outbreaks of violence. Local leaders are calling for an official proclamation. As outlandish as it may seem, we're being asked to lend credibility to either the existence of a mechanical god or a black star beyond their astral scar. So we can say, long live the mechanical god. I think both of these will result in a loss of stability, but will probably affect the next events. We can say, let them look to the black star, or neither vision has any merit. And I'm leaning towards this option. We don't really want to pick sides here. Unless these are both kind of ridiculous. I mean, this one is particularly ridiculous. I suppose if we were to choose one of these two, visions, probably go with this one here. But you know what? Let's not pick sides. Let's go with this one. Neither vision has any merit. But yeah, with me not having seen this event, I'm not entirely sure what any of those options would lead to. So our fleet is done. We have them fully repaired and also have replaced their losses. I suppose we could add more ships to them now, considering the fact that we just got that one tech. And we also lost Great Claw, unfortunately. So he was our Minister of Defense, and again we had to select one of these three options. And you know, we're going to spend the money to let the masses mourn. He was an important character. He was the Great Claw, of course. Unfortunately, we lost him. He gives us some really powerful bonuses. So yeah, we have the public funeral, and thus that'll increase our monthly unity and happiness. We also got that one tech, so I'll have to take a look at that. But now we need to assign somebody else to the Minister of Defense position, and we don't really have anybody available. Crimson Wing could do it, but isn't very good at it, considering the fact that she's more focused on leading the fleet. And so I think it makes more sense to probably just hire a new character. And just based on the traits, we're probably going to go with Feathers of Yellow. We'll change the name of this character as well, so it's a male character. Yeah, I think we'll go with Feathers of Yellow. And as far as the ethic, this is the militarist, fits for their job. So we'll get them hired. We're going to name him Yellow Shield. Can't always have the same names, you know, always centered on bird type names, and this is fitting because Minister of Defense and he's yellow. So we need to select some traits, again going for bonuses for him as a counselor, and we really want these defense ones replace the ones that we lost. So we're gonna get the defense engineer, and looks like the only one that's focused on our fleets or defense platforms would be this one here, Skirmisher. It's pretty good. Ship weapons damage is increased and sublight speed is also increased. That's pretty helpful. Not so much for our defenses, but will help the fleet, which is always nice. We also finish up the research for the reactive formations, so that's going to increase the command limit. And we're going to get the food processing next, mainly for that specialization, the agricultural focus. That would be helpful to have. We're also working on that next one over here, the mineral research support. And we'll talk about that once we get that tech in 32 months. Post-theoretical conflict, disasters on the nest. The contrasting visions experienced by the population have resulted in large-scale unrest. The competing groups have taken up arms with local skirmishes, leading to violent clashes all across the planet. This cannot be allowed to continue. So we've lost some hops, unfortunately. So we got instability and violence happening on our Gaia world. So that's unfortunate. We'll have to see exactly where this goes. I mean, I was happy with the nice bonus that we got here, but now we're just facing penalties. But maybe we'll get some really nice bonus in the end. So your first flock has arrived, so let's go ahead and do another attack here. And hopefully this time we can get them destroyed. There's only 3 remaining, and our fleet is overall more powerful. Though they did lose strength as soon as we came up in here, so not sure what reason that is. Some type of penalties these things grant, perhaps. But it looks like we should be able to get the victory.
Success.
Yeah. Only one left. Alright, beautiful. Alright, so we finally have conquered this system. It took a long time for us to actually get, the ability to build the outpost here. And so once we get that done, we'll be getting a lot more minerals. So our fleet, we'll just go ahead and send them over here. Back to where they're at. We did not take any casualties. That's excellent news. So it did much better on that attack. And we also finally finished up the research for the hyper relays. So this is going to require us to get more construction chips. And it's a good thing that we have a lot of alloys, because those are kind of expensive in alloys if I recall correctly. So for our next technology, we could get the Field Dynamics Center. That would be helpful to have. I think we're finally going to get the wormhole travel. 74 months to get that completed. I don't know that our fleet is powerful enough. I was thinking we'd wait until we got the cruisers. That does take a long time for us to finish researching. We also got the secret to the Hyatt, so I did start that. So the Hyatt had efficient processes for removing hostile xenopresences from their hatchery worlds. We have successfully recreated this cleansing process. It does have some concerning short-term effects on the biosphere, but once it recovers, the planet should be more suitable to our needs. So this allows us to research any new worlds tags faster. They'll also be more likely to pop up, and we'll get a few new texts that we can research. Alright, so pretty helpful overall, or we'll have to see how helpful it is, I guess, based on what those technologies do. So I guess we'd want to start our hyper relay network from here. I think that makes the most sense. So let's go into our shipyard and get maybe 2, or we could even do 3. I don't know if we'll have the alloys to support them, and we also have another construction ship. Let's just do the 2 for now, guys. I do need to see what the cost of those are. And it looks like the debate has been curtailed. All public discussion of the strange visions on the nest has been prohibited. Severe punishments for anyone caught broaching the forbidden topic have discouraged open conflict. Many colonists have moved on to new pursuits, but a core group of amateur astronomers continue to enjoy the sheer spectacle of the astral scar. So this is a reasonable measure, so that's going to remove the modifier that we did have, but it doesn't look like it's removing the other ones. Let me just take a look at those are still present. Yeah, they are still present. You'd think those would get removed, unless it's like a bug and they just forget to remove those, or maybe it's not even meant to be removed. Maybe it's still causing stability issues. I don't know. So maybe that's working as designed. But basically, this is going to, let me just take a look and see exactly how it's changing it. Because remember, we were already getting some bonuses from it. But that was based on all organic pops producing 1 physics research. While this one does not grant that. Instead, you get 20% physics research, and then you also get increased exploration speed for the astral rift, and then we're going to get a bunch of unity. So I don't know if that's actually better, considering the fact that we were getting the physics research for every pop that we had on there. So maybe it would have been better to go with one specific side of the conflict rather than being neutral. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we still have these stability problems as well, so, and there's no time limit on those. Now, stability is not really a problem on the nest. We're at 77% there, but yeah, it didn't exactly go the way I would have wanted, so maybe we should have picked something different there. Now, the Boer have closed their borders to us, which means we can now declare war on them again. Okay, so we're probably going to be doing that here soon. Let me first get the hyper relay network started up, and we'll see the cost of these. So I do remember that they had an influence cost. I'm not too worried about that because we do have a nice stack of influence. However, that's going to conflict with what we're doing here in the war, since we need to make our claims there. I don't know that we've claimed any of their systems just yet. The alloys aren't too bad. We got a nice stack, but I didn't remember the crystal cost. So we have a good stack of crystals, but yeah, that's not going to last long enough, guys. So our current stack is at 982. So that's certainly going to cause us some problems, the lack of crystals. But we do have a building that we can use to get more crystals. It might need to, because I really like the hyper relays. They really speed up the movement around your space. So I'm not entirely sure what this is pertaining to. Let me just take a look at where it is. So it's over here. It doesn't really affect us. So we're not going to read that, since it's not even in our space. Might affect us in the future, I suppose. What is a powerful fleet there?
Construction complete.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. So we did finish up the construction here. Excellent. So now we need to get all of the mining stations. It's going to cost a lot of minerals, but it's going to generate a lot of minerals as well. And we do have our other construction ship. As far as which way we want to go here, I mean, we're probably not going to go out this way. And you know, I did not construct the hyper relay here. I forgot that I like to select exactly where they are. So we've got 2 of those constructing, and it's going to take a while to get all the way through here, because that's where we want to do, is build attached to this location, and eventually over to this location. So we'll have like 1 construction ship going that way, and the other one going over here. The main limitations, of course, are going to be the lack of crystals. So we're going to need to start constructing things on our planets, which will increase the amount of crystals that we're producing. I did want to take a look at our defense situation here. Alright, so they continue to build these out. We want to get those all upgraded. And we can now get an additional tradition. So this is increased damage versus starbase. It's pretty helpful, but I think we're going to get the ship upkeep one to save us an energy cost. As our fleet's getting larger, you know, we're having more and more problems paying for them. And next we need to make our claims. We have claimed 3 systems, but we're going to claim some additional ones. The 3 that we're able to here. So this is the main thing I was waiting on. I know our council agenda was almost done. This get us the 10% happiness, but the reason why I wanted to wait is I was hoping I might be able to get something that would help us in the upcoming conflict. So the war exhaustion gain would be the obvious one to get there. This doesn't give as good of a bonus, and you don't get it until you launch it. Well, this one here, you get a small bonus even while you're just working on it. So probably would be the better one to get. You're not going to get the ship build speed. I think this is probably a little bit better. We do need the monthly unity as well. That's always helpful to have. But yeah, I think we're going to get this one for the war, the display of power. So go ahead and work on that. This notification, if you're wondering, this is just the minor artifacts. There's really not anything to do besides the artifact exhibitions with that. And there's only 2 planets where we can do that. And so basically you just gotta wait for those to expire. But if you take a look at our discoveries, we don't really have the other options that will eventually unlock, because you need that arcane deciphering. So all we can do is this one here, get you influence. But really it's just going to increase the ethic attraction for the xenophobes, and it only spends 100, so yeah, let's go ahead and start our war now. So I want to make sure there's nothing else we can claim. We've already claimed all locations, so let's go ahead and declare war to conquer our claims. We won't invite any other attackers, don't want them to get involved, won't need them either. So let's go ahead and declare war on the war again. Try and conquer a bit more of their space. I did forget to move the fleet over here, so we'll have to do that now. And of course we don't have the hyper relays over here just yet, but you can see that we do have one here connected, and we're getting some more in these systems here. But it does let you know that you got those connected if you've never seen them before. We did finish up the research for the self-connecting circuitry. So this is the new specialization, so I wanted to show you guys that probably on our capital planet. But first we need to get a new tech, and cruisers are finally available, so that's what we're going to be getting, of course. So I'm glad that we're able to get that before the wormhole travel. That way we would have the cruisers when we attack through that wormhole. Alright, so to show you guys that specialization, which I did get another army building. We're going to send them over here to combine with that one there, because you know we're going to need some additional troops. I'm not too worried about the fact that I don't have my fleet over here, because our starbase has a military power of 12.7 thousand. I would be really surprised if they're able to destroy that. Can't see their fleets right now, but I do expect that they're going to be even weaker than they were last time, and they really weren't too difficult in that first war that we did. Let's go ahead and go back to Carnethi. So remember, we already have a specialization set up, but we can go ahead and change it from mineral extraction, which gives 100 minor jobs for every district, to the mineral research support. So this one basically deprioritizes the miners and the mineral output, because instead of having 100 miner jobs, you only have 50, and you'll get 50 engineer jobs. In addition to that, you're also going to get increased engineer output. So basically, on any of your planets that are focused on research, you're going to want to get these. But you need to keep in mind that it also adds a mineral upkeep of 2.5 for every 100 engineers. So for every 2 districts you have, you're going to be losing 2.5 minerals, and it's going to reduce the miner output by 33%. So you're going to produce a lot less minerals on this planet. So you certainly don't want to do it on all your planets. Again, probably just the ones focused on research or your capital, which we're going to do it on the capital here. So that's going to take some time. I don't know if we'll lose the buildings here. I think there are some restrictions on which specializations you can put those buildings in. I don't know if any of those will get removed. We'll have to see once it finishes up here. We got another renowned Paragon event. This one is for the Authoritarian ethic. His name is Clement or Minder. The alien skin glistens with viscous secretions. He bows elaborately from the waist. When he speaks, his voice is surprisingly high-pitched, almost childlike. My lord, your honor, O supreme ruler, I, Quelaminder, am but your humble servant. Your word shall be my command. Let me take charge of one of your planets, and I will bring you glory and wealth. Oh, so much wealth. It looks like a greedy dude. What exactly do you do? We both know how things are. The commoner is lazy, always demanding more rights, higher wages, more freedom. Left unchecked, they would stuff their bellies with what rightfully belongs to you. But if I were placed in charge, slowly he clenches a fist, just give me a planet, and I will squeeze these silly notions from their heads. They will show gratitude, glorious one. Oh, they will indeed. Why do you seek to join us? Who would not leap at the chance to serve such majesty? He giggles with anticipation. Some are born to rule, the rest must be led. That is the order of things. You can trust me. I will serve you faithfully. He seems so trustworthy. You grovel well. O most exalted one, this is but a taste. Shall I go on? Compared to you, I am but slime. I am but a larva wriggling in the dirt. Praising you is my honor and my privilege. Your mere presence floods me with joy. Let me serve you with boundless devotion. He's certainly an ugly dude. And we've already set precedent for hiring aliens and using them as governors, but generally only on... Well, in this case, it's the Oracle, so she's not really awful. But in the case of this guy, if we were to hire him, we'd only want to use him on planets that we conquered. It's like with the Nest, which is, one of our colonies that we established. Kind of hard to move that. I don't want any of these characters running that planet. We do need a governor here, by the way. Yeah, we have the Oracle in charge of this planet. This is the conquered planets, and this character could be in charge of new conquered planets that we take, because they do have some really useful bonuses for the worker and slave resource output in particular. Also reduces the pop upkeep. It's going to add some penalties, of course. Happiness and pop growth speed are going to be reduced. Get some more minerals from the miners, more bonuses for the slaves. And of course, this is a cruel character, so you're going to get the reduction to the stability. I say let's enlist this character, though we might be short on commanders. Need to take a look at that. Yeah, we're actually at our commander cap. I guess we'll enlist the character. We're still going to be getting the next tradition in 36 months. I think that's okay. So our fleet has arrived, so let's go ahead and do our attack. Makes most sense to attack here first. Then we'll take this location and then this location and move along from there. It looks like the Galactic Community event has finally fired. So we're going to support this. It's not like we could stop it anyways.
Fleet action underway.
Alright, so this should be an easy battle. It's just against that weak starbase. Also might be able to get their army destroyed. We'll see if they were able to escape. They were not. We destroyed all 8 of the transport ships. All right, excellent. So, nice, easy battle there. Let's go over to this location next, which we don't even know it's here. Just the 213 for the starbase. Yeah, their starbases are really weak. Don't know where their fleet is. They're not in a war right now, are they? Besides the one with us? No. Just our war with them. And these guys have open borders with us, and they're flipping out as well. Alright, so it shouldn't take long to get control of that. Excellent. So let's move over to this location next. And then once we have control of that, and we can move these guys now. We're still waiting on the other unit, because we've got to seize control of the planet there. And it looks like we had a battle here in Carnethi. So we were invaded again. Weren't able to see what their strength was, but clearly, was stronger. But not strong enough to actually take out any of our defense platforms. So that does mean we need to research the special project. So we'll do that now. We've got a scientist in the area. And I think these guys are just sitting here, so we're going to want to get them building in the next locations. So I guess it's going to be here and here. We don't get them in all of our systems, but any systems that we're going to traverse often will want to have the hyper relays. So I mean, we'll eventually be coming over this way. So I want to get them there. Probably should be a priority though, getting them going over this way. This is gonna be an interesting place to build in. So let's go and get that constructed. It's a beautiful location with those 2 stars. And I also have this guy building a hyper relay. So they're gonna be like meeting each other down the middle, like the Transcontinental Railroad. Alright, so moving over here, once we've taken that, then we could probably safely move the army over there. But I want to combine these 2 first. And we did get an event here from the Caravan fleet. Look at what they offer us. So we could get 300 racket bombs, but it would cost us 2,000 alloys. So before we, although I might have just lost it since I closed it. I could have swore you used to be able to like close events without actually dismissing them. I didn't think of another game. Anyways, I wanted to see what bonuses those pops would give us, but I guess that's irrelevant because I closed that. I feel like that's not the first time I've done that in this Let's Play either. I never learn my lessons here, guys. So let's go ahead and sell some of the minerals to buy some energy since we're still running at a bit of a shortage here. Everything else was really good though. It's just the energy that we're currently having problems with. See if there's anything else we need to be aware of. Alright, so once that army gets here and we get those combined, we'll send them over to attack that planet. Although we do need to take a look at how strong the planet's defenses are. It's 385. I don't know if we can actually take those out because our army right now is 312, we had 28s, and they're more powerful than ours. So we would either need to add to the army or bombard them a bit. Okay, we might go ahead and do that real quick since they're not even doing anything to us. Let's just send the fleet back and bombard the planets a little bit anyways. Try and get the numbers on the armies destroyed so we can invade with just what we have here with the 10 units. I don't really want to have to build any more if we can avoid it. So this is regarding a new policy, Death from Above. The orbital bombardment of Hyperion has sparked our council to discuss how we should respond in the hypothetical scenario of a surrender. So we can prohibit it or we can allow their surrender, and that's what we're going to do. That'll allow us to get control of the planet without having to do an invasion. It's a really nice thing that they added because it didn't always have that. And before, you basically had to have an army in order to take control of locations, which doesn't make a lot of sense. If your fleet is above a planet and just wrecking everything, you would think at some point they would eventually give up. Like if you're killing all their people, destroying all their buildings, and they have no hope of rescue, then why would they not surrender, you know? So yeah, we'll allow that. We can also change what bombardment policy that we're currently using. Right now we're doing the selective. Could change over to the indiscriminate, but we're going to keep it on the selective for now. We'll not bombard undefended planets. We'll not kill the last 2100 pops. We'll do light damage to the pops, mainly focus on doing the damage to the army. That's the main reason why we're here, guys. You can see it's already dropping, and we'll be able to do the invasion. We won't bombard it, you know, till they surrender, unless they give up quickly. The idea is just to weaken them to a degree. All right, so our assigned ship, we're just going to want them to camp out in the starbase. Well, they've researched that debris. And I do need to keep an eye on our construction ships, so you know when they get these hyper relays finished, we can start on the next ones. So we'll build this one over here. And yeah, I like to place those myself. So establishing communications with all these other civilizations as we've had the birth of the galactic community. That's going to be located right up here. Senate will be in recess for 719 days. And we are going to want to assign a leader, but I think we're going to have to hire somebody new because I don't want to send the Oracle. I mean, all these characters are currently busy. So we're going to have to select somebody new and have them really focused on the Galactic Council, because I think that's one of the focuses for that class. And we can also propose some resolutions, but many of these will get proposed by the AI civilization. So we'll wait before we spend any of our own influence, since we're going to need that here in the war, and just let the AI propose them, and then we'll determine which ones we want to support a bit later. But what we can do is go ahead and get a leader hired. So we're going to want to take a look at the officials. We can get up to 2 more. I think we're going to go with this character here. Her name will be Skycaller. And just trying to go with some different names. Has the resilient trait, so they'll live a bit longer. They're authoritarian. Probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to send a xenophobic character to deal with aliens. We could have selected this character as well, but yeah, she's young and she'll live longer, so we'll go with her. And she's a former politician, so it makes sense to have her going to the Galactic Council. So let's go ahead and hire her, and then hopefully we can give her traits that will help her out here. Alright, so with her in place, we're done with the Galactic Council for now. We'll pop back in there after some stuff starts getting proposed, and we'll see what we want to support and what we oppose. We do want to get these 2 combined. Let's get those merged, and then go ahead and have them come over here, but not yet land until we get the garrison weakened a bit more, that 378, while our army has a strength of 346. So I do want to have a sizable amount of strength difference there. There's lots of people joining the galactic community. And we'll also get a lot of notifications about things being proposed, borders being closed as we get to meet everybody. But this is what the galaxy is going to look like here, guys. So we're not going to click through them all, see what type of civilizations are out there. But we will accept embassies with some of these. We do need friends. So if they're not too far away, then we'll accept some embassies. We can see some stuff has already been proposed here. We'll want to wait until we get closer to it no longer being in recess. Just kind of go through all of them, decide which ones we want to support and which ones, again, that we're going to be opposing.
Inbound message traffic.
So their fleet is finally on the move. 3,930 strength. That's what they got. We are being offered a research agreement. Now this is kind of stuff that we're probably not going to accept, though in this case we would get access to a lot of technologies that we don't have just yet. But yeah, we are not going to be sharing our technology. And it looks like somebody's already been destroyed. The Byzantine Empire? I'm not entirely sure who that is, but they are gone now. It seems I spoke too soon regarding their armies. They actually have another fleet coming. 5575. But they're moving separately, so I don't really think they'll be able to fight us at the same time, which is a mistake on their part. Are we not rivals with them? Yeah, we definitely want to correct that. Declare rivalry here so we can get more influence. Probably because we had the truce with them. So we're going to let them take this location because it's the weaker one. And let's see where they go next, because they only have two choices, right?
Spaceport lost to enemy.
They can either move over to here and get wrecked by our defense starbase. I'm not worried about that at all. Or they can come over here and do battle with our fleet, in which case we'll also get the assistance of our starbase. So I think that's what we're going to do. Because, yeah, we haven't weakened this quite enough. So let's move this fleet over to here. Or maybe even just straight up move them all the way over here. Get them out of this system. Because we're still bombing them. And then what we could do, let me just see where they're going first. Oh, maybe they're leaving. That's interesting. So they are going to combine their forces. But yeah, what I was thinking is if they attack us here, we'll at least get the assistance of the starbase. Okay, so they are going to join together, which is wise, and they are going to come over here. Okay, because otherwise they would not be able to win. So this is going to be a big battle, guys. So let's go and move our fleet like over here. So they'll actually get the assistance of the starbase. And then hopefully that'll be enough. 12,000 strength against, well, looks like about 9,000 something. Almost 10,000. I mean, it's going to be close to an equal battle here. But remember, those numbers don't say everything. Turn this down a bit so we can watch the battle at regular speed and see how things go. So yeah, seeing the fleet numbers drop rapidly, it looks like we did win the battle. I thought we would. We never could tell exactly how they were going to go in the fleet battles in Stellaris. We did lose our frigate, unfortunately. Alright, that's a shame because that was a special frigate that we had gotten, so we can't rebuild it. We did destroy 2 of their destroyers, or I should say 3, and then 12 corvettes. And we only lost the 1 frigate. So that really didn't go too bad, guys. Not too bad at all. So let's go ahead and continue the bombardment here of Hyperspace, and then we'll also want to get the, I guess it's easier just to do here, get the army moving back into space as well, so we can invade that soon. And we'll also want to research that. Remember, I moved the scientists somewhat close. So let's go and have them start researching the project. This is Grey Plume. We finish up the research for the wormhole stabilization. So that means we can now go through that wormhole whenever we're ready to. Which, like I said, I think we should wait until we get the cruisers, and obviously we need to wrap up this war first. I don't know how well an attack against them is going to do, but thus far their fleets are not all that impressive, at least compared to our defensive. Well, you know, I guess that's just comparing it to our defenses here, but compared to our own fleet strength, I guess they are probably a bit more powerful than us, so we need to keep that in mind. And next we're going to get the FTL inhibitors so that, you know, any invaders can't move past our star bases or our planets. You know, they actually have to attack those locations rather than just avoid them. What's the point of having these bastions if they can just, or maybe not completely avoid them, but attempt to. So we got about 26 days before the Senate is no longer in recess. So let's go and take a look at what we want to support and what we're going to be opposing. So obviously we're going to support the formation of the galactic market. That's going to be definitely the first thing that is going to be happening here. As far as this one, I'm absolutely fine with that, to get more diplomatic weight from our economy and increase trade from jobs, so we'll support that as well. As far as where we stand in the galactic community when it comes to diplomatic weight, we're in the middle of the pack here. Now, do keep in mind that we're getting a negative 10% penalty due to the fact that we're xenophobic. So basically our delegate is just making up for that penalty. But some of these guys have a lot more strength, particularly this Divine Multix Order. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that. But they're a cybernetic sovereignty. And because they're cyborgs, they will get a bonus to their galactic weight. But yeah, they are way higher than anybody else. Incredibly powerful. Let me just see exactly where they are located. Pretty far from us. That's good, because it seems like they are significantly more powerful than everybody else. Yeah, their fleet power is a bit higher than ours as well. We're getting 327 from our fleet power. We're getting a lot from our pops, but that's only half of what they're currently getting. They're getting 571 from their economy. We're getting 328. Technology, we're at 245. Well, they're at 287. So really, technology is probably the only thing that we're close to them in. I'll just kind of show you how everybody else is doing. Oh, they have like no fleet power. They're getting all their points from their pops. I'll show you guys the situation of those above us, so you can see how we compare. But yeah, we're right here in the middle. So going through these are the ones we're going to be supporting, you know, with the thumbs up, and then some of these we don't care that much about at the moment, so we won't support or oppose just yet. Yeah, just kind of go through these. You guys can see what our priorities are at the moment. Some of these obviously make sense for why we would not be supportive of them. A lot of these are just kind of ignoring. These ones here, we'd be in breach of these resolutions, so obviously we want to oppose those. And these ones down at the bottom, maybe we'd support the eradication of those, but not really a priority at the moment. So it does seem like the next thing we'll be working on is forming the galactic market. You do want that one to happen first. Although sometimes you don't, if you think that you can get the galactic market in your space if you had a bit more time to build up your planets. So cradle the enemy. Thanks to our recent breakthrough in wormhole civilization, we have been offered a rare glimpse of the Gathri Maelstrom system. An aggressive fleet of biological vessels and a heavily fortified starbase await us on the far side. Extreme caution is advised. We have found the cradle of the enemy. So it seems like we probably wouldn't be able to win this, considering we also have to fight a heavily fortified starbase. So might want to further increase our fleet strength by a lot more before we even consider invading them. Also, with a lot more of space opened up, we're gonna see the Leviathans out there, and you can see a lot more of their space too. So we could make some further claims. Let's just see how far we're gonna be able to get here before we do that. Though we've got plenty of time here, guys. We haven't even seized all of our current claims. So the Senate is now in session. So on the Senate floor, of course, is the forming of the galactic markets, and it seems that there's only one civilization that's currently opposed to that, and they don't even have any strength because they're far too xenophobic and frankly not very powerful. So that's one we'll vote on, and it very much is going to pass, as you would expect. I don't know how we got all the way down over to there. We finished up research for the gene channeling. This will allow us to modify our species as well as other species in our empire. The next thing we're going to research for society is the heritage site. Let's go and get that. As far as uni goes, we're 11 months from getting our next tradition, so we can now modify our species. That's the one we'll probably want to work on first. So I think we just get on one more trait, and we can't remove the hollow bones because it's requires 3 points and we only have 2, so that would not be an option. So as far as what I'm thinking here, I think we should either go with, could do intelligence. That's always helpful for increased efficiency for the researchers. But that's also a common one because, again, tech is so important. I don't know if it exactly fits with the Caravex either. Maybe natural warriors, not as beneficial, as armies just aren't all that useful, but the effective commander skill bonus, that would be helpful, and then also increase job efficiency for the enforcers. That'd be nice as well. And it seems that my mouse just went dead. I use the wireless one, so gotta always replace the batteries. Usually they're pretty good about it. You don't have to replace them often. But I do have another mouse sitting here, so we're gonna use that. This one's a bit louder, so I don't use it for recording. The clicks are a lot louder, and just overall a heavier mouse, so you hear it a lot more in the mic. But we'll just use it for now, since I don't feel like switching out the batteries just yet for the other one. Anyway, we could go for the natural warriors, and then the other option I'm considering is the quick learners. Really focus on the leaders for the Caravex. Also makes sense to be quick learners. They've learned from their experience of being attacked. They have to adapt constantly. Could make the argument, since we're talking about being adaptive, that they could get the adaptive trait to increase their habitability. But I really feel like quick learners are a little bit better and really focus on the leader class for the Caravex, because remember, they already have the talented bonus. And so it makes sense that they would kind of like be the leaders while kind of subjugating everybody else. And thus you give them the bonuses for the leaders while everybody else does the other kinds of work. So that's what I'm thinking, guys. One of those three, either intelligent, natural warriors, or quick learners. They all happen to be right next to each other as well, so that's helpful. Let me know if you guys have any other suggestions that you think fit for the Caravex. And I'm not going to do anything just yet. I'll wait until I get feedback on which trait you guys think would be the best one for our primary species. Then we can also make an adjustment to the Vor, since we have one planet with them on it, and eventually, after this war, we'll have even more. We could just remove the repugnant. I feel like it's kind of fitting for them. That also only affects their job efficiency if they're entertainers. So it might be better to just leave that negative trait and instead get them a positive trait. So yeah, we have a few different options that I think that would be helpful. Could get them a strong one, so they'll be better as workers. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking as far as giving a trait to the Vor. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and continue our war here. Fortunately, don't have a lot of time left in the episode. I'd like to get this invasion done, and I feel like we are probably strong enough to go ahead and start that and then send the fleet over to here and go ahead and launch the invasion of the planet. And hopefully they do alright. We have a bit more strength than them. Also, some things aren't being considered with that strength. Like our special species trait bonus. So we'll probably take some losses here. Or maybe they'll disengage, which would be the most beneficial. So we don't have to get those replaced. But yeah, looks like we're definitely going to win this battle. Probably didn't need to bombard for as long as we did. A few different things have happened here. Obviously, we finished up this battle here. So we need to move to the next location. Because we did have somebody die here, but it wasn't Crimson Wing. We also finished up analyzing that debris. And it was actually Ironbeak who died. So I'm guessing Ironbeak died in this battle. Yeah, I think that's what happened. So we don't have a general here now. But we did take over the planet, so that's what's important. And if we want to have somebody in charge here, we're going to have to hire somebody, basically. But we're not doing any invasions just yet, not until we get over to this location. The problem with this system is actually it has 2 planets we'd have to conquer. This one has a really weak garrison. The other one's a bit stronger. But the biggest issue here is that we have to manage all these. So that's 3 new planets that you'd have to manage and worry about potentially rebelling. So could always just do like a quick war here. Just conquer these 4 locations and pretty much be done with it. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do, guys. Let's just take these 4 systems for now. Because we can just sue for peace, and we'll get all 4 of those if we do the settle status quo. So I think that's what we're going to do. They're willing to do that. Obviously can't achieve the war goals because we didn't conquer all those locations that we've claimed. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Have a nice, quick conflict. I assume they'll agree to that because they said they would. The other thing we have to consider is that we've lost our principal instructor here. So we could just place anybody into that position for now. Obviously we don't want anybody in our council who's not of our species. And thus, out of all of our options available, the only one that really makes sense is Goldmother, because she does have a counselor trait that we're not able to make use of. Increasing pop growth speed and the food from jobs. So we'll get her put in place as the principal instructor. Also, we got a construction ship over here that just finished up. Basically, they're linked because this location already has one being constructed. So our relay network will be linked from our capital over to this location. But we might want to go ahead and have one here, since remember, this is where and we take a look at our starbase here, this is where our shipyard is. So they'll be constructing any ships for the front, and then you'd probably want to go all the way to the front as well, though that is now going to be moving soon. So yeah, it makes sense to start with this location since I didn't do it. Get a hyper relay, I guess, right. I'll get a hyper relay right here. So we'll get that done. And then this science ship here, I guess they can move back. And yeah, we'll take that peace treaty. Move them back over to here. Alright, so we achieved peace and got ourselves 4 new systems and 1 additional planet. That means we do need to set up a new sector, because this is just this frontier sector. So I think we need to wait for that to be added. Now we're going to have to do some management. First, let's move these guys back to that location for now, so I don't have to pay as much upkeep on them. And we just won't assign a general at the moment since we're not using them. So we need to, let's rename the planet, and we're actually going to use the name of the star. I usually name the star based on the planets. We're going to do it the other way around here. So this will be Exodor. I like that name. I think it's fitting here. So this will be Exodor, and it's currently a mixed industry. They have chemical plants and exotic gas refineries, which we can't build either of those. Not just yet. We don't have the text for them, so that's really helpful to have. And you know what? Let's just complete it by replacing this with the synthetic crystal plants. So they're really focusing on getting us those rare resources. Then they have the archives with the research complex and the research supply depot, which is going to reduce the upkeep for researchers. Okay, so we'll leave that as is. I think we might get rid of the commercial zones here. We'll keep the luxury residence just because amenities is actually a problem, but I think that might get better because the devastation is causing part of the issue there. But let's just leave that for now. But let's go ahead and replace that one with the monument. I know we have another space here, but we don't really need the extra trade at the moment, so we're probably going to replace that. And well, you know what? Let's not get the medical center. I kind of want to get another research complex. I suppose we could build it here as well. I like the idea of using this slot for the administrative office. So you know what? Let's do that there. And yeah, let's replace this with a research lab since we do have that reduction of the researcher upkeep. Makes sense, guys. I don't think they have any bonuses. No. So yeah, let's go ahead and get another research lab. They also have a few things constructed here. I can get a lot of technicians. Let me see if there's anything to replace it with. I suppose there wouldn't be, considering the fact that I don't think we have the ability to get these ourselves. What we could do with this slot is get the miner output increased. So go ahead and do that. And I suppose we'll wait to deal with that. They have a lot of available jobs. We can get rid of this nature preserve. This section of this world has been declared a nature preserve and may never be tampered with. Turns out that's not true. So we'll just go ahead and take that at the top. One nice thing about getting their planets is that they have the mastery of nature. So that allows them to get increased districts on all of their planets. As that's allowing us to, you know, every location we take from them to have more districts. So now we need to set up a new sector. So I don't know if we've done that in this series just yet. I don't think so. You know, we just have the core sector. And so we need to select which one of these planets we want to be the capital of the sector. And I think it really makes sense to probably do it with a new planet. Let me take a look at their population here. Yeah, it has more population. As far as distance to any future planets we take from them, that doesn't really matter because they're the same amount of systems away. So yeah, I think we'll make that Exodor, our new planet, the new sector capital. So we'll create that sector. And it'll take a minute to add these 2 planets. So the nest will not be in the sector, which is a good thing. We don't want it part of that sector because what we're going to be doing here is we're going to put that new renowned Paragon that we got, who is a ruthless developer, we're going to put him in charge of these locations, which means we're also going to get rid of the Oracle here. I guess the best way to do this is just probably place her in charge of the nest. And it makes sense that the Oracle would be in charge of the nest, right? So we'll place her there. And they'll still get the sector bonuses from this character. He's a level 4, so a level below what the Oracle is, but he has all those other bonuses as well. So they'll basically be really unhappy, considering that he has all those penalties and they're already going to be unhappy, but they'll be producing a lot more for us. Alright, excellent. So we're going to want to get first flock moved back over to here. And just let it play here for a couple months, see what the effects of our new locations are on our economy. Thus far it looks pretty bad. Yeah, we're short on a lot of things, and we have a criminal underworld in Valaj Mog as well. So we'll have criminal jobs there, increase to crime. Okay, so not surprising with the new governor that we just added, and the fact that they lost their governor, which was actually giving them a lot of bonuses. So now they're down to 33% stability, just 2% here. Absolute trash. So yeah, definitely gonna have some issues on our new planets that we're gonna have to get resolved. So this first contact is concerning the void worms. So we could go with the easy prey so we could do more damage to them. I'm curious what you get with this one. I don't know that I've gone with this since the void worms were added. So I'd like to see if we do that research, what we'd get from that. So that is the society research. It'd take us 17 months. And we're currently getting a heritage site. Yeah, I suppose we can go ahead and work on that. It seems that the siege of the Citadel is a situation log here, or is in the situation log. Let's go ahead and add our envoy there, so we'll start working on those other menaces. Yeah, definitely having some issues with our economy now. Consumer goods is dropping, energy credits is still a problem, and of course we're going to have more crime issues on Exodor. So both of those are now crime planets, and we got a special project here that we can go ahead and attempt to work on. So that's located over here. So kind of far from our construction ships, because I only have the 2 right now. This guy isn't doing anything though, so I guess we can go work on that real quick. Yeah, we'll go ahead and research that project, and then we'll come back and continue working on these hyper relays, which the crystals are in a better situation now. They're 657. Now they only have 2 of the construction ships building those. Yeah, unfortunately, we are going to have to end today's episode here. We finished up the war, conquered a few new locations, got ourselves a new planet, and now we're having a lot of issues in these 2 new planets. They really don't like their new governor, I think. Yeah, crime is a real problem. So we're going to have to take a look, see what we can do to fix that. In fact, there are some decisions that we can make use of. Yes, we also have that yet cleansing process that we can use to get increased habitability. But yeah, we want to do the anti-crime campaign. This will help our enforcers, which we don't really have any on this location, so that's kind of a problem. So we need to get enforcers. I mean, we do have the ones you start with that you get from the planetary capital, but yeah, that would help to get a precinct house to try and reduce the crime. I don't know if we'll keep that around once we deal with the crime issues, but for now would be useful to have. They already have that here in Exodor. But yeah, let's go ahead and make sure we use the decision here as well to launch an anti-crime campaign. We can also negotiate with them, but we're just going to deal with the crime. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure that we have the artifact exhibitions in these planets. We do not. These are the only 2 that we can make use of it. So the Senate is still currently in session. It's going to be 1,019 days before that resolution to form the galactic market is passed. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. Got a lot done with our hyper relay networks, and again did that short conflict. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.